GT the Vibe podcast coming at you real quick. So I'm doing a sermon, getting preparing. I'll let you kind of look and see. We got notes on notes on notes. I'm preparing for a sermon about the reprobate mind, basically what it is. I'm gonna give you 8 signs, and I'm gonna give you 5 cures. One of the cures, because I was there. I was. God handed me over to the sin I was in, and so each day I'm gonna post a video. It'll be a couple minutes long, and I will go over some of the things that that I would say are the biggest outliers, some things that you'll see. And number one for me personally was measuring by others' failures. Matthew 7:2 states, "For in the same way you judge others, you will be judged. And with the measure you use, it will be measured to you." And so what happens is I got to a point where I would be like, well, it's not as bad as what that person did. Or I didn't do as bad as such and such. I did this little thing wrong, right? And it's almost like you're comparing sins, like you're comparing levels of sin. And so I was comparing levels of sin. So I was like, well, I didn't do as bad as this person did, so I should be okay, right? Or I didn't do as bad as such and such. Such and such did this. Honestly, I think I should be okay. And what I realized is that that's not how it works. Because in Romans 14:12 it states, "So then each of us will give an account of ourselves to God." So I started to think, well, dude, so when I stand in front of God, am I going to stand in front of God and be like, well, God, I sinned, but my sin wasn't as bad as Larry's sin. Or I sinned, but my sin wasn't as bad as John's sin, right? That's not going to happen. You're going to be accountable for the things that you do. And one of the things that get you into the mindset, a reprobate mindset, where you're just like corrupt morally, is you justify your actions based on not being as bad as the other person's actions. And that is a cure for disaster in Christianity and your growth and your spirituality with Jesus Christ. You should never compare, because at the end of the day, you're judging that person, saying they're worse off than you because of the sin that they did, right? And in Matthew 7:2, it literally says that how you judge is how you're going to be judged. And so you're actually two-pronged approach there, that you're getting a double negative essentially. Not number one, what you've done, you're going to be held accountable for before God. And so I started to think after a while, like, dude, like, would I go stand in front of God and be okay saying this? Would I go stand in front of God and be okay saying this to him? Would I be okay saying that to him? And if you're not okay, then you probably shouldn't do it. But remember, if you judge others harshly, you yourself will be judged harshly. That is the key. So number one sign of reprobate mind is a person that measures by others' failures. So if you find yourself in the shoes and you're measuring your failures, your sin by other people's sin, compartmentalizing sin, thinking that, well, my sin is less than that person's sin, so I should be okay. That is not good, because God does not see sin in the same way that we do. Every sin that we do against a human being or a person is a sin against God himself. And so we're actively sinning against God. And we're justifying it by saying, well, it's not that big of a deal, essentially. This is GT the Vibe podcast. Please like, subscribe, and share. I'll see you on the next one.